a missing Colorado mother, secret affairs, and a tragic loss. Today's video is about Suzanne Morphew, a mother of two from Colorado. Suzanne went missing on Mother's Day weekend in 2020 and was never heard from again. Suzanne lived with her husband and two daughters in a quiet life in Colorado, a western U.S. state with river canyons and snow-capped Rocky Mountains. On May 10, 2020, Mother's Day, her bicycle was found down a steep ravine off Chaffee County Road 225 from Highway 50. It did not look like it had been involved in a crash, and there was no body to be found on the scene. There was also no blood or damage on the bicycle. The details just didn't add up. It took 3 years for the police to finally find the Colorado woman's body. So, what went down on Chaffee County Road that fateful day? Stay tuned as we dig deep into the mystery of Suzanne Morphew's tragic disappearance and death.
What have these last 3 years been like for you?
Very, very sad. Very confusing.
Just so traumatic. Like literally our worst nightmare.
Suzanne and Barry Morphew's love story began in Alexandria, Indiana, an all-American small-town community surrounded by countryside an hour northeast of Indianapolis. They met on the golf course where Barry worked during the summers when he was home from college. Suzanne was still in high school back then and lived on the first tee. The then 17-year-old Suzanne was a shy yet beautiful woman, the baby of the family. Morphew was popular in his hometown as a sports legend drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. Barry and Suzanne married in 1994, and Suzanne gave birth to their two daughters, Macy and Mallory. Later, she left her job as a school teacher to raise her two daughters, and Barry started a landscaping business. The Morphews then moved to Salida, Colorado, in 2018 to live nearer to their eldest daughter, who went to college there. Or was it perhaps to give their rocky marriage a fresh start? Sadly, a couple of years before her disappearance, Suzanne's cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, returned, an illness she had battled before. The story takes a turn when Suzanne sparks up a romantic affair with Jeff Libler, her friend from Alexandria Monroe High School, in February of 2019. The relationship was in no way platonic. Investigations revealed the couple had had several secret chats and meetups, possibly deepening the cracks in Barry's and Suzanne's marriage. On the 6th of May, 2020, Suzanne sent her husband Barry a heartbreaking text, making it clear that she wanted to end the relationship. The text read, "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure out this civilly." The mystery only deepened since the investigators' report stated that the message had been deleted. It was only retrieved from Barry's cache. Was he trying to hide crucial evidence? Stay tuned to find out. On May 9th, 2020, a day before her disappearance, Suzanne texted Libler, proving the end of her marriage with Barry. "We need to be husband and wife," in one of those 59 text messages exchanged between the pair that day. Suzanne also sent Libler a selfie, which prosecutors commented was her last proof of life photo. Little did she know this was the last selfie of her life. On Mother's Day, 10th of May, Suzanne allegedly left for a routine bike ride but never came back. The reports say her bicycle was found down a steep ravine off Chaffee County Road 225 from Highway 50. What didn't make sense to investigators was that her bicycle didn't look like it had been involved in a crash. The investigation took another dark turn when the investigation revealed that no blood was recovered from the scene. Barry told police he left early that morning for Broomfield to fix a retaining wall for his landscaping company. According to his account, Suzanne was sleeping soundly in their bedroom when he left. He was the last person to see his wife alive, as their daughters were away on a camping trip to Idaho. That Mother's Day, when the girls texted Suzanne, they never heard back from her. It was the first warning sign that they would never see their mother again. The girls called their father, who asked Gene Ritter, their neighbor, to check up on his wife. Gene would make a shocking discovery. Gene called Barry and told him there was no sign of Suzanne or her bike at the home, but her Range Rover was still in the garage. She was supposed to go for her cancer treatment that day. However, The hospital said that she did not show up for her appointment. Barry wouldn't drive home immediately. Instead, he drops off some other tools, including a shovel, for his coworkers at a hotel. He would only begin driving home at 6 p.m. that evening. One tiny detail that staged Barry as the prime suspect was that he threw out trash at multiple locations around Broomfield, Colorado, while in town for work. His defense was that he often dropped trash in inaccessible bins to avoid paying to have it disposed of at a landfill. Investigators, however, believed the trash bags contained important evidence that might prove Barry to be the killer. Law enforcement officers also contacted Miles Hardin, a friend of Macy's. He was the one to point out that Suzanne couldn't have taken her bike on that trail for a fun ride because it was impossible to climb, making way for the possibility that the evidence might have been staged after all. Later that night, when Barry arrived home, he started asking suspicious questions. He asked the deputies whether they had seen a mountain lion in the area. Investigators even searched Barry's car, but it was squeaky clean. On May 13, 2020, investigators found Suzanne's bike helmet untouched just a mile away from where they had found her bike, approximately 10 meters off the highway. According to the family, Suzanne had a habit of taking her Camelback and sunglasses on bike rides. Surprisingly, these items were found inside her SUV, confirming by all merits that the scene may have been staged, and that Suzanne never really went for the bike ride that Mother's Day morning. Soon, the FBI got involved, accompanied by a team of geologists to help crack the case. But even with their resources, the case remained unsolved.
Suzanne's husband Barry initially charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence, but those charges dropped just before his trial.
On July 9 and July 10, 2020, the remaining members of the Morphew family were asked to vacate their home as investigators rummaged through their belongings in a desperate attempt to find new evidence. Interestingly, the investigators did come across a dart cap in the dryer. Sadly, this proved to be another dead end. Barry's cell phone records from May 9th showed suspicious activity. His phone had been pinging all around the house. During the inquiry, Barry said on record that he was trying to shoot chipmunks with his tranquilizer gun, wreaking havoc across his property. Was he chasing chipmunks, or was it his wife that he wished to tranquilize? Another piece of the puzzle that pointed to this disturbing theory was the presence of scratch marks on Barry's body and a long vertical crack in the couple's bedroom. The FBI, CBI, and civilian volunteers aided the local and state authorities in a large-scale search across the harsh terrain. Even a scuba diving team tried to look for Suzanne's body in a nearby waterway, but all their efforts were in vain. 10 days after Suzanne Morphew was reported missing, investigators found a spy pen hidden discreetly in the couple's walk-in closet. Suzanne, being suspicious of Barry having an affair, had placed his voice-activated spy pen to catch him red-handed. Instead, Suzanne had accidentally recorded herself calling Jeff Libler, putting the affair in the spotlight, turning Libler into a person of interest, and sending shockwaves across the community. After a year-long effort to gather evidence, prosecutors charged Barry Morphew, the husband, with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and attempting to influence a public servant. A preliminary hearing started in August 2021, where prosecutors presented evidence to a judge to determine if there was enough to send the case to trial. His family attended each date, and his daughters, Mallory and Macy, sat in the rows behind the father in support of him. Their belief in his innocence was unwavering. Days before the trial was to begin, prosecutors dropped charges against Barry Morphew without prejudice, meaning the investigators didn't let Barry off the hook completely in case more evidence popped up. Barry Morphew filed a $15 million civil suit on May 5, 2023 against several prosecutors, Chaffee County, the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, and the FBI. The lawsuit stated that Morphew was seeking damages caused by the prosecutors, Chaffee County, and law enforcement officials. This was a major step from Barry in the hopes of turning the tables in his favor. Almost 1 year after Barry filed his civil suit, new evidence surfaced on 22 September 2023, changing the outcome of this whole mystery. During a search in an unrelated case, CBI investigators unearthed remains in a shallow grave near Moffat in Saguache County. The grave was dug about 40 miles south of where Suzanne Morphew was reported missing, in a remote field of sagebrush and grasses. After 3 days, the El Paso County coroner identified the remains found by CBI investigators as those of Suzanne 3 years and 4 months after she had disappeared. How did Suzanne's body get there? While we don't know the answer to that, we can be sure that her life was stolen from her unjustly. We don't know for sure how the events of May 10, 2020 unfolded. 3 years later, Suzanne's loved ones are still looking for answers as they mourn the loss of a loving mother and compassionate wife. Did the justice system fail the Morphews? Did they add to the family's anguish by bringing charges against Barry? With Suzanne's body being found, the family might get answers to the questions that have tormented them for 3 long years. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel, and remember, stay safe out there.